Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and to this short video where I'm going to give you a rundown of my first ever experience painting in plein air in soft pastel. I learned so much from this first experience of painting outdoors, and although I'm not an expert, I thought that maybe some of these tips might help you if you're trying to get started. If you enjoy this, then please do hit subscribe. And I'll add links to my Patreon channel also in the description below, where you can gain access to my full library of real-time tutorials. Last weekend, in a small town just north of Malaga in the south of Spain, there was a plein air painting competition. It attracts some amazing artists from all over Andalusia, but I thought, why not give it a go? For me, it was as much about getting out there and meeting some more people in this area, practicing my Spanish, and at the same time, ticking something off my bucket list. Because I've been meaning to have a proper go at plein air painting in soft pastel for a long time. And maybe it's the fear of trying something new and a bit scary. And also the fact that my easel is just always busy in my studio, but either way, I just never seemed to get around to it. I've done quite a lot of sketching on location many years ago, but I have not really taken my pastels outdoors. And I know how silly this is because it is a fantastic medium for working on plein air. The week before the competition, I went into town to take some photos to help me choose my location. I took photos of many of the little streets, but I chose this one because it's not the busiest street in town. It has many interesting layers and the lovely mountains are visible in the background. So here are some of the other things I did that week leading up to the competition that really helped. I did a small practice sketch on location in this street, and that really helped me think about the perspectives and where I wanted the horizon to be. This little sketch saved me so much time on the day. I made myself a viewfinder in the exact ratio that my piece would be. I'll talk more about this in just a moment. On another day, I went to look at the location at the time of day when I thought I would be doing the main colour work. So the competition started at 10 a.m. I knew that it would take me at least an hour, maybe 2 hours to sketch all of this out, to work the distant background. And then at the time that I would be working the foreground and the main shadows that we see, I thought that this would be around early afternoon, certainly after lunchtime. So by going to look at it beforehand, it gave me a decent idea of what the light would be doing here in the foreground, what kind of light and shade I would be dealing with at around the early afternoon time of the day, provided there was a similar amount of sunshine. The photographs that I quickly snapped on my phone, they really helped me at home in the studio to choose myself a palette of colours to give me some direction on what pastel colours to bring with me. So although I wasn't intending to look at any of my photographs on the day, they did help me to plan a little bit for the colours in advance. I also decided to use Canson velvet paper simply because it has this nice texture to it, and I knew that I wasn't going to have any time for fancy blending or details, and I was hoping that the texture of this paper would help me to very quickly describe the rough surface of the buildings in the foreground, for example, and I was really pleased with this paper choice. When I got there the morning of the competition, I spent some time getting myself and my easel positioned in a place where I had a similar view to what I saw the week before. And then I put some brown bits of tape on the ground at the feet of my easel, because each time a car came along, I had to pick up my easel and move. And honestly, the brown tape on the ground in those spots really helped me save time by just being able to put my easel back exactly where I had it. Not something that you will have a problem with if you're working out in the middle of nature, for example, but certainly working within a town on busy streets can provide a whole lot of other challenges. So what did I bring with me? Let's have a look now at the kit. I have a fantastic easel. This is the classic Julian easel. I've used this easel in my studio for more than 10 years. Normally I use it on the desk without the legs, but I love the fact that it can be freestanding. It's a pricey easel, but after so many years, this thing is still so sturdy and it worked brilliantly on the street. Now, of course, you don't have to have an expensive or fancy easel to go out drawing or painting. Perhaps you are going to sit and you could easily have just a little drawing board propped up on your knees, or a smaller, less fancy easel would also do a great job. The next thing that I packed was a few of my little Prym storage boxes. So I've got a whole other video about these trays. If you're interested in that, I'll add the link in the description. But I used to store all of my pastels in these trays when I traveled a lot. So I packed myself 2 full trays of colors, and I brought an empty tray for the front of the easel. And here you can see all of the colors that I did actually end up using. And then I had one more deeper tray just for some miscellaneous items. And the fantastic thing about these boxes is that they all click together so quickly, so easily. And it's as easy as that to carry all of your stuff in a very neat pile. As a drawing board to work on, I had my pastel paper taped to the inside of a big art folder like this. And I will often do this because it's so easy then to be able to put a sheet over the piece, cover it over, and transport it. And of course, that's the great thing about soft pastel. It's dry, so it's actually quite easy to transport as long as you cover the piece and make sure that nothing can smudge the surface. I also brought along a packet of wipes just for the convenience of being able to wash my hands whilst standing in the middle of a street. And lastly, I had my viewfinders. This is just a piece of mount or mat board with a hole the same ratio as my painting. I taped 2 pieces of string, creating a center point. And honestly, this was the best thing ever. It helped me so much to be able to frame the view in front of me and to quickly get it sketched out onto the paper. I would have been lost without this, and I think now before I go out again, I will make myself a fancier one that can be adjusted to different sizes and ratios. So what would I do differently next time? Because I will do this again. Next time I go out, it won't be for competition. I like the fact that this gave me a push and gave me a deadline, but next time I will just go with no time limits. I won't put as much thought into where I'm going to paint. I will just go with the flow. The kit that I brought was great. I needed nothing else. But for comfort next time, I think I would bring a parasol and figure out a way to attach that maybe to my easel, because working in the direct sunlight all day was quite difficult. So a big sun hat or a parasol for next time would make me that bit more comfortable. So think of some of the logistical things of working outdoors to try and make sure that you're going to be comfortable. And of course, maybe you won't be standing at an easel. Maybe you'll be sitting somewhere more comfortably. Perhaps you want to bring a little cushion for your bum. So those would be some things I would think of for next time. I will also work a bit smaller. This was a little bit too big for my liking, but it was the minimum size specified for the competition. So if I were just going myself, I will bring several smaller sheets and experiment a little bit more. I also love the idea of taking those smaller studies back into the studio to create a larger piece. And finally, next time I will choose a more simple subject. I really wanted to challenge myself with this, and I'm glad that I did, with something so different from what I normally work on. But next time, I think I will probably narrow my focus a little bit. Certainly choose something with less buildings and less crazy perspectives. So I hope that some of this will help you to plan your first plein air excursion. I think the main thing to get over is the apprehension of what's going to happen. It's not a controlled environment like your home or your studio. I had flies landing on me. I had a bird that pooped on the painting about halfway through. I had lots of interruptions from the friendly locals, which I absolutely loved. And I'm quite used to working in front of people, so this didn't bother me too much. But that's certainly another element to get used to. And I suppose if that really bothers you, you could always go further out into nature where you won't encounter as many people. But my main advice is to just set yourself a day and go for it. If you're like me and a deadline works, then make an appointment for yourself and stick to it. I know that I'm going to pencil in a few more days of trying this out and see if I can start to get more of a feel for it. And maybe next time I'll bring my good camera and actually film some of it. Let me know if any of this is helpful, or if you would like to see a video on my next adventure in plein air. And if you've got any great tips, please do put them in the comments below. I am going to be learning so much about doing this over the next few months, and I would love some of your advice too. If you did find this helpful, then please do remember to hit subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description, one of them to the video about my storage boxes, and also the link to my Patreon channel. But thanks so much for watching. And until next time, happy pasteling.